Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Friday. I'm going to start this week off a little differently. I do want to start this particular segment off with discussing last week, discussing week 7, discussing those picks that both fantasy and the game, which I think were on par. Some were on par and some were not. Some were just way off base. And we'll definitely get to the players and discuss those, which I think were on par, and those which I believe are way off. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who are checking this out on the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/kickrocks with a Z, number 15 at the end. Again, hope you're enjoying this. So let's talk about week 7 real quick. We'll shoot through these. I'm going to go over the scores that I predicted and then what the actual scores was and what that means for week 8 coming up. So let's talk about Cincinnati at Atlanta. Now, originally I had Atlanta winning the game, in which they did. My score was Atlanta 31, Cincinnati 24. Carson Palmer threw for he threw for over 400 yards. But Cincinnati did take an L in that game. Atlanta winning at home 39-32. It was a real good game. I was on par with the next one with Washington at Chicago. The score did come out being 17-14, which was my prediction. If you look on my channel last week, I did have Washington winning in Chicago 17-14, so I was right on that one. Tampa Bay at St. Louis. To tell you the truth, I really thought St. Louis was going to win, especially coming out of that great win against San Diego. Obviously, they lost. They only lost by 1 point. Tampa Bay did win at home. The score in that game being 18-17. So I definitely was wrong in that one. San Francisco at Carolina, another one. So obviously it looks like I'm 2 for 2 for right now. But I did have Carolina losing this game, but they ended up winning. My prediction was San Francisco 28, Carolina 17. The score actually ended up being Carolina 23, San Francisco 20. Another close one, and it's close by the score. I had Baltimore winning by 20 points, almost 3 scores. I predicted Baltimore to win 30-10 against a struggling Buffalo offense. However, that wasn't the case, being that Buffalo did push Baltimore to overtime. Baltimore did pull it out at the end, with Ray Lewis making a great defensive play by stripping the ball away and setting them up for the 40-yard field goal. Baltimore won that particular game 37-34. So as of right now, I'm looking okay on the picks as far as the games. We'll finish out the rest of this week and see how I did in week 7. Philly at Tennessee. I did have Philly losing this game. I had Tennessee winning 30-20. The score actually ended up being Tennessee 37, Philadelphia 19. That was a great game for those who, if you saw it, Kerry Collins had an awesome game. Kenny Britt had a magnificent game. I will talk about him because I did say sit him down last week, and I was wrong in that. But we will discuss that. But I did have Tennessee winning that particular game. Another game, Jacksonville rather, at Kansas City. My prediction was Kansas City would win the game to a score of 35-17. Looks like I wasn't too far off base. Kansas City did win the game, but the score being 42-20. So that was a good one. Pittsburgh at Miami. This was a close one. I had Miami winning. I had Pittsburgh winning this game again with Big Ben being back. I really thought Miami just would have a tough time defending his passes. They really didn't. It was a close game. My prediction was Pittsburgh 23, Miami 20. The score ended up being Pittsburgh 23, Miami 22. So you see how close that was. That was just going to be a good defensive game. Here's where I was totally wrong, and a lot of you Saints fans were probably thinking the exact same thing. Last week, I predicted that New Orleans would win 38-17 against Cleveland. Figured that New Orleans playing at home, you just, with that crowd there in the Big Easy, I just figured that they would win. However, that wasn't the case. Behind Drew Brees, 4 turnovers. Cleveland ended up beating New Orleans, 30-17. So that I was definitely wrong on that one. I'm sure a lot of Saints fans, I'm sure everybody around the globe, except for those in Ohio, thought New Orleans was going to win that game, and just unfortunate that they did not. Arizona at Seattle. I had Seattle winning this game. I had Seattle 24-10 was my prediction. The score being 22-10 in Seattle's favor. So close on that one. Not too far off the mark. Another close one. New England at San Diego. Again, had New England winning this game. I had it to a score of 26-20. New England only won by a field goal at 23-20. New England's win on the road. Another close game. Here's one that was just mind-boggling for the entire Week 7. I think it was just the biggest, well, obviously it was the biggest upset for Week 7, but it was just mind-boggling. Denver at home. I had Denver winning this game 30-10. Oakland came into Mile High and just beat the crap out of them. The score ended up being 59-14. You know, I know you can't pick them all. You definitely can't win them all. But definitely that was a pretty tough one. Minnesota at Green Bay. Being that Brett Favre, this will probably be the last time he plays in Lambeau. I just thought he'd be ready to play. Real emotional game for him. However, Green Bay did pull this one out. My prediction of the score was Minnesota 23-20. However, Green Bay ended up winning the game 28-24. And then for the Sunday night game, for the Monday night game, I had the Giants winning in Dallas, only to a score of 24-17, but the actual score being New York 41, Dallas 35. Sorry, Cowboy fans, it's maybe just not your year. You know, Week 7 is a tough one. A lot of head-scratching games. You know, it looks like I was right on except for 1, 2, 3 games. So, I'm sorry, 4 games. So, out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Out of 13 games, it looks like I got 9 right. So what I'm going to do going forward is that I'm going to keep track of how I do each week. So starting from Week 7, making these picks, I'm currently 9-4. So we'll continue to see how it goes on through the rest of the season. Hope you continue to watch. This has been a recap of Week 7. We'll be talking about Fantasy Fridays, who I think you should start, who I think you should be sitting for Week 8 in another segment. Again, my name is Roger Blair. Hope you're enjoying this. You have a good weekend.